This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, a community access media station. Thank you to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
I'm a dreamer of 3D pictures. I'm a traveller.
Good afternoon, Radio Hawke's Bay loyal listeners. It's Nikki Mountain here, and I am thrilled to welcome you to another edition of Dyslexia Unpuzzled, our monthly podcast broadcasting on Radio Hawke's Bay, 107 FM and 1431 AM. Always offering insights into the mysteries of neurodivergent thinking and other learning challenges like dyslexia, dyscalculia, to educate and support all you awesome parents out there in the Bay. This month I am delighted to welcome all the way from Fiji, Gilles and Louis, who have been working with me at Dyslexia Unpuzzled this week. Welcome to the lovely Hawke's Bay. It's a privilege to have you both here with us this afternoon.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so it's been a massive undertaking for you to go to the lengths that you have to get help for Louis. Could you please share your story?
Well, Fiji doesn't have a lot in terms of diagnosis or treatment of dyslexia. So we've just spent years trying to help Louis progress in reading. And he was quite late and rejecting the task, and it was really difficult. We tried several approaches. His school does provide support, and the team is nice, and we've had lots of talks. We've thought about lots of strategies, and we've tried many things, but without a clear diagnosis that the issue was dyslexia, it was difficult to go any further. And even then, they don't have specifically trained people at the school to help with this. So we discovered, just through word of mouth, the Davis method about 1 year ago, which tells you a lot about how much time it takes to get these things going, because we were already, if not desperate, really looking actively at solutions 1 year ago. And we then discovered that there was opportunities to get Louis treated through that program in New Zealand, which was the closest to us, coming from Fiji. So we started, I think we had our first contact pretty much 1 year ago, Nikki, where you explained how he worked, and we started discussing it inside the family. It was, as you said, it was a massive endeavor. It's not just about paying for the program itself, making Louis available for 1 week, but also coming here and finding accommodation. It's a big thing. So that's what we started working on. We tried to make sure we were taking the right decision, which is not easy. The program is not very well known everywhere, so it depends whom you talk to. We ended up encouraged by two psychologists. Well, one is a psychologist, and another one was a support teacher who just arrived at the ISS and had experience with the Davis program, and both of them told us they thought it might be a very good solution for Louis. So that helped us a lot making a decision. And then on top of that, it just so happened that we had to come to New Zealand this very week, which was school break. So it was perfect. It just worked perfectly in our agenda, and that's what we ended up doing.
Perfect, that's awesome. All right, so Louis, can you tell us, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Yes, that's cool. And you obviously go to school in Fiji, so can you tell us which school that you go to?
I go to ISS International School Suva.
Okay, and you were telling me how many kids in your classroom?
There are 15.
Okay, cool. And can you just briefly sort of tell us, if you feel comfortable to do so, just share with us some of the learning challenges that you've been having?
Yes. Well, some of them was mostly reading, but I could even in math I had difficulties because for word problems I couldn't do it alone. I had a someone who could read to help me. Sometimes it was students who I was friends with who helped me just read. But then I just converted it to, math. So that wasn't so much a problem. But for reading, I could really not progress. I couldn't learn when I was at home. When I wanted to ask a question, I had to ask my dad, and if he didn't know, he might research it, but it would take lots of time. So if I could read, I could just research it myself, write it, research, get the answer myself, and progress a lot.
Okay. So, and what's your ultimate goal to go through this program? What would you like to happen?
Well, my ultimate goal is to learn to read independently.
Cool. That's wonderful. Thank you. So, just going back to your schooling, is there any support resources available to you at your school?
Well, yes, but it's really like they make you read all the time, and it's very tiring because you have to be concentrated for a very long time. And I all the time did things that I wasn't supposed to do, while I didn't understand why, and I didn't understand how, and each time I did the same mistakes, each time repeatedly, and it started to be really annoying because I was progressing pretty well, and then I got a barrier where the reading is too hard, I can't go through it, and it's really just reading like stories that aren't interesting. Like, I went to the shop, and I did that, and that. It's not interesting. It's not a story.
Okay. So, and you've been doing the Davis program with me for how many days now?
3.
So for 3 days. So we tested you on Sunday afternoon. And how did we find your reading on Sunday afternoon? Were you reading fluently there when we tested you, or was it a struggle for you?
It was a pretty good struggle.
Okay. And if I recall, I think we stopped your test because it was just you were tripping up so often with your words. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have done 3 days together, and so how have you found your reading now after working with this program for 3 days?
Much, much easier. It is much less a effort. It's more like I'm actually starting to read, even though some words I can't read them well, and often a trip still. But those errors don't take me a very long time to correct. It's very fast, and often, before I sometimes read fluently some pieces of writing, but now it's much oftener. So I start feeling that I'm getting closer to my ultimate goal. And before, I couldn't say out my mind all the letters of the alphabet in order. Now I can do the uppercase and the lowercase.
That was a pretty big achievement for you to be able to do that, wasn't it, Louis?
Well, yes, and I had no idea I couldn't do that.
No. And did you, when we were going through that, what did we find as we were going through that with the letters?
We found that I had lots of confusements, and that there were lots of letters that I couldn't remember the names, or that I just didn't say, or that I skipped.
Okay, cool. And you were completely unaware that you were skipping these things?
Yes.
Yeah. And now are you more aware that is happening?
Well, yes, much more, because I was closing my eyes to repeat the alphabet, and I could often feel that something was wrong. I knew that something was not right and that I had to know. First I finished, then I looked, and often it was a letter that I had forgotten.
Okay, good work. It was nice that you developed that conscience to go with it, that you could actually feel when something was wrong. And now you, what do you know to do now if you know that you've made a mistake or that something's not right?
Well, first I can do two things.
Mm-hmm.
First one is see if my mind's eye is on his point. Secondly, a big release to stop being so concentrated, so much using my brain, to relax a bit more, to know that I'm not tested. I won't have a result that will help me do something very important for my life. It's more, if I don't do it, I know I'm already close of it and I can progress and still progress. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful answers there, Louis. So, Jill, how have you found just observing sort of as we've been working the past few days? What sort of things have you noticed, observed, or?
It's amazing how the simple things can change everything. Helping Louis reading, I've noticed, of course, that he had problems with some of the letters, that he got tripped by some of the letters, and like many dyslexic children, for example, that he would confuse a D with a B or a P. But I've noticed it without knowing what to do. And except just, showing him the letters next to one another, trying some tricks like using the word bid to, know the beginning is the B and the end is the D. Try to use visuals like this, but it takes too much time. And as Louis has put it during one of your sessions, he was saying, before I put the strategy in place, it's already too late. And seeing you work through the alphabet for the better part of 2 days, it's so obvious. Of course we should have done that, It's just how you did it, making sure that it was really in place and making him realize when something was tripping him. It just makes sense.
Yeah. So, it's quite a big undertaking needing to do that, but unless, because the alphabet's sort of all made up of these letters, we have to be able to identify them and be conscious of which way round they go, because it's very easy for a dyslexic brain to want to flip letters round so they don't make sense. So, Louis, do you feel now that you've got most of your tools in place, and are you feeling confident with going ahead with the rest of the program?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm much more confident.
You are?
Before, I didn't understand how in so short period of time I would learn to read, not bad, but not great neither. Better, at least. Okay. So I didn't understand, and I was a bit stressed that we would test me and things like that.
Okay. So, and does it feel better now knowing that you've got a way to cope with that stress and to manage and know that you can calm yourself down if there is a challenging part of your learning?
Yes.
Okay, so we've developed some really good strategies to be able to get over that. So we've got another 2 days, and I just want to ask how you were feeling prior to doing this program. Did you sort of come on board wondering how on earth we were going to get all this done in a week?
Yes.
You did? Yeah, so did you have any concerns that you want to tell us about?
No, I didn't have any concerns for, learning to read. I knew that the Davis method would work. Somehow I knew it, even though I don't know how.
How's not often important. So, Gilles, you must have done a lot of research, obviously, to find out about the Davis program. As you say, it's not currently as well known as it should be. What kind of research did you need to go into before you committed to picking up your family and coming to Hawke's Bay to work with me?
Well, first of all, I became aware of the program through word of mouth. A friend of my mum's had heard of the program for, I don't know, a grandson or something, and so I just checked it out, and I thought the web page was very well done. There are a couple of videos that are great, that explain their perspective on dyslexia in a very simple way. I showed those videos to Louis, and he wasn't sure it was what's going on with him, but he said it made sense, at least. And to me, it made a lot of sense. It could explain his difficulties. And the way you work through this manually is very attractive. You know, when you think of young children trying to have an activity that they will have to enjoy because it's a task that they have been refusing for a long time. You need to go around that, and he gets to manipulate clay the whole time or a lot of the time. This is great. This is a good idea. So I had very positive first impression. We discussed this with my wife, and we thought it was an interesting possibility, but at the same time, looking further online, we also found voices saying that it was not sufficiently scientifically grounded. I mean, there weren't enough studies behind the program, and so that made us a little wary. As I said, you know, it's a massive endeavor, especially for us coming from Fiji. So we looked for more input. I asked some psychologists. We had the opportunity to go to New Caledonia, and because we were going there, we knew we were going to have access to support that we don't have access to in Fiji. So I tried to see a psychologist. She asked around, and no one in her circles had heard about the Davis program. So that made us a little worried.
Okay.
But then, you know, we had further discussions, and I told you before, we met two people, one person from support who was new on school, and another psychologist who both had heard of the program and had positive results with the program. So that helped us make our decision.
Cool. Well, and I'm taking it that you're pleased with the Davis program and the progress that we have been able to make in that short amount of time that we have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I'm certainly hoping that the Davis program becomes more well known in the future, and we can certainly reach more people out there and help them with their learning challenges the same way that we have with Louis. So just looking ahead, what are your hopes and goals for Louis' continued progress and development when you get back from Fiji?
You mean we'll go back to Fiji?
Yes, is that what I said?
Yes,
that's what I meant.
Okay. Well, as he put it, if he can read independently, then it's fine. He'll be able to progress because he will have reading material around him, and he will try on his own, which has been the block road that we had right now. We can't let him try on his own. It just doesn't work. It's blocked. Yeah.
Well, that's really good that we've unblocked a lot of that for him. So what advice would you give to other parents who may be considering similar options for their children?
I think the website is really good, and those videos that I mentioned are very precious. It's very good to understand what's going on with your child. I would show that to your child and, you know, discuss with them, do you recognize yourself in this? And I also would say that what I've seen from the program, the self-management tools are something that really can be useful for anyone. So I can hardly imagine the program not being beneficial to anyone, pretty much.
Okay, that's really cool. It's certainly, The progress always amazes me every time we do a program with anyone, and just how advanced the progress can be within such a short space of time. So I'm certainly looking forward to meeting more people and working with more people out there. So do you have anything else that you would like to add? Do you have anything else you'd like to add, Louis?
Well, except that I really like the Davis method.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What do you like about the Davis method?
Well, mostly for a very long time, I wanted to do clay and move my hands a lot, and the Davis methods makes me able to learn by creating, which I really like.
Oh, that's cool. And you've made some pretty awesome stuff, and we've got still more stuff to make, so that'll be really cool. So I really appreciate that you shared your journey with us, Louis and Gilles, and thank you so much for coming with us this afternoon into the wonderful Radio Hawke's Bay. And I hope you have a little bit of time to have a look around. I know someone else in the studio at the moment's got the sight set on having an ice cream on the Marine Parade this afternoon, so that'll be cool. Okay, so before I head off this afternoon, here are 3 ways I can support you. Check out my webpage where there is a webinar on dyslexia, and the video that Gilles was talking about that clearly explains dyslexia and other aspects of neurodiversity. Also, on my webpage are the corrective programs that I offer. I invite you to have a look at these and call me so we can chat about what's involved and how these simple but effective strategies get such astounding results, similar to Louis' experience. If you'd like to call me, my number is 027 249 5074. Another way you can contact me is for a Deep Dive Express. So in this time, which is 30 minutes, we'll break down your biggest challenge, map out your next steps forwards, and see if we're a good fit to do more work together. Please also I invite you to check out my social pages where I share practical suggestions, information, inspiration and tips to help you. I'm on Facebook with Dyslexia Unpuzzled. Also, I have another Facebook page, Instagram and LinkedIn, all under Nikki Palamountain. That's Nikkipalamountain. So lastly, I wish you all the very best out there, listeners, for your Easter break. And of course, our guests here, a lovely return to Fiji. Hope the trip is going to be enjoyable for you. Please don't forget that I'm always here for any support or advice, and so you can get any answers to any questions that you have. Please email me at Nikki, Nikki, ampersand or the @ dyslexia, DYSLEXIA, unpuzzled, UNPUZZLED.co.nz, Dyslexia Unpuzzled, all one word. I appreciate your opinions and experience, so please don't hesitate to get in contact, especially if you would like a Zoom cuppa. Let's make time to connect so we can just chat about some of the challenges you may currently be working through, or just take time out and have time so we can get to know each other better. Thank you for listening today on Radio Hawke's Bay, 104 FM and 1431 AM. This program will replay on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock PM. Tell your family and friends about it. And if you'd like to get to know or want to know more about the Davis program, again, my number is 027 249 5074. Thank you so much for listening this afternoon. Nikki Palamountain, Dyslexia Unpuzzled, signing off. Thank you.
This is my gift. This is who I am.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, your community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.